Hello students, good morning everyone. See, today we are going to study about the exercise of this first chapter of chemistry, that is matter in our surrounding. Okay, we have discussed the entire chapter, and now I hope you have gone through the notes, you have written the notes, and now you are ready to uh, go through the exercise. Okay, so to study about the exercise of the chapter. Okay, so that you can write the question answers in your notebooks. See, we'll start with the in-text question. The first in-text question is on page number 3 of your chapter number 1, that which of the following is the other matter. Like, for example, the list of the substances are given. Out of these list, we have to identify which of these are the matters. For example, chair is there. Okay, air, love, smell, hate, almonds, thoughts, cold drinks, smell of perfume, and all. Okay, so out of these things, as we have discussed earlier, the things which have um, like which we can feel or which we can touch or which have some mass, which occupies the space. Okay, see what are the criteria to fulfill the characteristics of being a matter. It should have a mass, it should occupy the space, and we should feel it. Okay, or we can touch it, not feel, we should able to touch it. So out of these things, out of this list, which are the things which we can touch or which occupies a space or which have certain mass? So you can see here the answer is, okay, the answer is chair, air, almonds, and cold drinks. So other things like air, okay, sorry, air, not air, love, smell, which doesn't have mass and it does not occupy space. Hate, these are the feelings. Okay, love, smell, hate. Then thoughts, they are the internal abstract things, they can't have a specific mass or they cannot occupy the space. So as they cannot occupy the space, so they are the you know they are not a matter. So the answer is chair, air, almonds, and cold drinks are the things which are considered as a matter, not the abstract thing. They are okay. The second question is, give reason for the following observation. The smell of hot sizzling food reaches uh, you several meters away, but you get the smell from cold food, you have to go close. Okay, so if the food is hot, then the smell comes from long distance. But if the food is close, you have to, and if you want to smell it, you have to go to near the food. You have to go to near the food so that you can smell it. So why is it so? So the question is that why the smell of cold food doesn't come from long distance, we have to go to the food and then we have to smell. And then why the hot sizzling food, which is very very hot, which comes from the long distance? Okay, so here the answer is C. Solid diffuses at very slow rate. Solids diffuses at very very slow rate. Okay, but if the temperature of the solid is increased, if you keep the big wooden block on the ground, it will not diffuse very fast, it will diffuse very slowly. Diffuse means the particles will spread very slowly or at the very negligible rate. But if you increase the temperature, okay, if you increase the temperature of these solids, then the rate of diffusion of the solid particles into air increases. So any solid when heated, the rate of diffusion increases. Reason is that, as we have studied earlier, the the kinetic energy of the particle increases, and as the kinetic energy increases, they start diffusing, they start spreading in that surrounding. So when the the when the solids are heated, the particles, the rate of diffusion of solid particle increases on increasing the temperature. This is due to the increase in kinetic energy. It's mentioned here, the kinetic energy of the particle increases, and hence the smell of sizzling hot food reaches to us even at the long distance. But to get the smell of cold food, we have to go to close, because cold particles of solid does not have enough kinetic energy, and because of not having sufficient kinetic energy, the particles cannot reach on long distance. So that's the reason that why this one, cold food, cannot be smelled from the long distance. The next question on the same page is, a diver is able to cut through the water in swimming pool which property of matter does the observation show? Okay, now the question is that diver, the person who's diving in the water, is he cuts the water, cut through the water in a swimming pool. Which property of the matter does this observation show? We can cut the water while swimming. Which property that of water is seen here? Okay, that's the question. So this observation shows that as the driver is cutting the water or cutting through the water, the particles of matter, okay, particles of matter have a intermolecular spaces. You cannot cut the wall, or you cannot cut the other solid matters as we cut through the water, as we swim through the water. Okay, like water has a intermolecular spaces, and these intermolecular spaces allow us to go through it, but solid does not have intermolecular space, so it does not allow you to go through it. Okay, so that's the reason that why we cannot cut through the solids, but we can swim or we can float in the air also, because it allows us to move because of intermolecular spaces. Then next question is, what are the characteristics of particles of the matter? What are the characteristics of particles of matter? As we have discussed earlier, the matter has space in the particles. Okay, matter are continuously moving, the matter is attract each other, particles of the matter attract each other. These are the main characteristics of the um, particles of the matter. What first is space. Okay, the particles have space in them. These two particles of the matter, if you take, this is the wooden block and these are the particles of that, so every two particles have a space. Okay, every two particles have space between them. In different states, that spaces changes, like solids have very negligible space, liquids have more space, and gases have very very large space. Then second is continuously moving. These particles can be continuously moving state, they are moving continuously. Okay, then particles of matter attract each other. So these particle and this particle, these two particles, they attract each other continuously, and that's why this particular matter has a shape. Okay, so because of the intermolecular force and force of attraction, these any matter, if you see, they have a space. Okay, they have a fixed shape, sorry, not a space, they have a fixed shape. So this is the reason that why the things have shapes. Okay, so these are the three characteristics of the matter. Now next question is on page number 6. If you see here, page number 6, if you see, there are a few questions. The mass per unit volume of the substance, mass per unit volume of the substance is called as density. Now what is density? Mass per unit volume. Now density, we say that the wood float in the water. Reason is that the density of wood is less. What is it? What does the density means? In that particular area, if you take a two same area, these and these are same areas, and in both the areas, if you see, mass in this area and mass in this area, if this has more mass than this is more dense than this. Okay, so density varies according to the mass per unit area, sorry not area, volume, mass per unit volume. So densities का जो अपने पास formula है, what is that formula? The density is nothing but mass upon density is equal to mass upon volume. What? Density is equal to mass upon volume. This is the simple formula of the density. Okay, so arrange the following things in order of increasing density. Increasing density मतलब small to more. The things which have less density will come first, and the things which have higher density, they will come later. Okay, so now see here, the list of the things are given here. So let us talk about the list first. Okay, the air, exhaust from the chimney, honey, water, chalk, cotton, and air. Okay, so if you see the increasing order of density, so the lowest density is of air. So air has the lowest density. Okay, air has lowest density out of these things. Then it comes after air, we have a exhaust from the chimney, because it has some particulate matter, some small solid particles are there. So density very small, they are very very smaller, so they have a more density than even air. Okay, so these if you see, when chimney exhausts its waste in the air, the particulate matter comes down again. Okay, it sinks down in the air and air moves up. Okay, gaseous parts moves up and the particulate matter comes down. Okay, so because of those particulate matter, these small solids particles, the exhaust from the chimney has more density, okay, than the normal air. But then next is cotton, okay, cotton has more density than exhaust from the chimney, then water, then honey, then chalk, and then iron, okay. So if you see, iron is very very denser, okay. So the out of these all things, iron is very very dense substance, okay. So this is the first question on page number 6. Then second is tabulate the difference in the characteristics of states of matter. Now what are the states of matter? How many states of matter we have seen? Okay, basically we have 3 states of matter: the solid, liquid, and gas, okay. So these are the 3 main states of the water, okay. Sorry, states of the matter, not water, okay. So and the second question is components of the comment upon the following: rigidity, compressibility, fluidity, filling a gas in a container, shape, kinetic energy, and density. So on the basis of these characteristics, on the basis of these factors, we have to comment on the above 3 states of matter. So let us see property of the state, okay. Liquid and gaseous, solid, liquid, and gas state, okay. So let us see the differences, or the okay. So first of all, the solids have definite shape and volume. Solid have a fixed shape and volume, but on the other hand, liquid does not have no definite shape. Liquids attain the shape. Now here it is a column like this, okay. These are 3 columns. So no definite shape, liquid attain the shape of the vessel in which they are kept. So whatever shape of liquid or container it is, the liquids take that shape, okay. Even gases neither have a definite shape or not definite volume. So this is the first difference between the liquid, solid, and gases, okay. So let's go to the second, that compressibility. Now if you see the compressibility, the solids are incompressible, then they are slightly compressible, liquids are slightly compressible, and gases are highly compressible, okay. So this is the compressibility. Next is fluidity, that is solids cannot flow, liquid can flow, and gases also can flow. So this is next. Then particles of the matter, particles of solid don't move freely. Solid particles can't move freely because of strong intermolecular force, and then liquid particles can move freely but confined within a boundary. Like if you fill the liquid in the container, it doesn't go out of the container like gases, okay. So it is confined, means it is limited. It does not, the container's walls cannot or does not allow the water particles, or water does not go beyond the container's walls. So this is about the particles move freely but confined within the boundary of the container, okay. And then in the gaseous state, particles move freely. Next thing is that force of attraction between the particle is very very high in the solid state. This is about the solid, this is about the liquid, and this is about the gases. So next characteristic is force of attraction between the particle is maximum in the solid, and that is minimum, or the force of attraction between the particles is less in solid but less than the solid but more than the gases. Medium, matlab not strong as solid, not weak as gases, okay. So this is about the liquid. And then gases के बारे में, if you see, the force of attraction between the particle is very very least force of attraction is there, okay. So if you see, the least force of attraction between the particles of gas is found, okay. So next question was comment on the property like rigidity, compressibility, okay, and all, okay. So first of all, what is rigidity? Now rigidity is nothing but the property of matter to resist the change in shape. Now if you squeeze the ball, a cricket ball, it is squeezed because it does not resist the change in shape. So as it is its shape can be changed, it means that it is not rigid. But at the same time, if you take a stone or iron rod and if you try to press it, it doesn't change the shape, it resists the force that is exerted on it, okay. So rigid, that is rigid, the stone is rigid, or the cotton is soft. So soft के opposite होता है rigid. So rigidity is the property in which change in shape, or the matter the change in the property of matter to resist the change of shape. Okay, so that's the first property, that is rigidity. Second property is compressibility. If you see the compressibility, the property of matter in which volume is decreased by applying force. Like if you take an example of gases, the volume is decreased by applying the force. Okay, like if you fill the gas in a big container, it will occupy entire space, so the volume is big, but or the same volume of gas can be filled in the small container by applying the pressure. So that means that's why we say that the gases are more compressible than the liquid or solids. Okay, so this is the second property. Now next property is fluidity. Fluidity means ability to flow. Solids cannot flow because strong intermolecular force does not allow the particles to move easily, or the least kinetic energy, that's why particles doesn't move away. Liquids can move, okay, liquids can flow, and gases can flow even more than the liquids. Okay, so next is filling a gas container. On filling a gas takes the shape of the container. If you fill the gas in any container, it takes the shape of that container. Okay, so shapes having different boundaries. While taking the shape, always whenever it is filled in the different containers, it takes the shape of that container. Okay, the next property is kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is the energy possessed by the particles of the matter due to the motion. Motion means when the any state of matter is heated, or whether solid is liquid or gas, any state of matter when it is heated, the particles possesses some energy, acquires some energy, and start moving. Okay, so that movement brings some energy, or movement stores some energy, and that energy is called as kinetic energy. So the particle possesses some energy, and that energy is possessed by the particle because of the motion of the particle, and that energy is called as kinetic energy. Okay, and the density, the last property, the density is the ratio of mass per unit volume. That I have told you already the formula, that density is equal to mass upon volume. So this is called as density. So next question is, third question is, give reason that a gas is completely gas fills completely the vessels in which it is kept. Now the question is very simple, that why is it so? Gas fills completely the vessel in which it is kept. The thing is that it is so because the force of attraction between the particle of gas is negligible. The attraction force is negligible, and hence the particles does not attracted, or particles are not attracted by each other. And if the particles are not attracted by each other, they will move freely. In another words, you can say that the kinetic energy of the particles of gas is very, very high, and because of that the particles can move freely. Move for the motion, or for the movement, motion is required, and because of kinetic energy, motion is there in the particles, and the gases have more kinetic energy, and because of that they move freely. And as the motion is free, because of the less force of attraction, the particles move in all direction, and thus the gas is filled completely in which it is kept. Okay, and then second question is that a gas exerts pressure on the walls of the container. It's very simple question. Particles of the gas move randomly. This is the answer. The particles of gas move randomly in all direction at the high speed. Why they move with high speed? As we know, kinetic energy of the gas state is very, very high. The least kinetic energy is possessed by solid particle. Little more kinetic energy than the solid is possessed by liquid state, and the highest kinetic energy is possessed by gaseous state. And because of the highest kinetic energy, the gaseous particles are randomly moving in all directions, and as a result of this, particles hit each other, and they also hit the walls of the container, and because of that the container is filling, or there is a pressure on the container, and because of that the gases exert the pressure. Okay, gases exert the pressure on the container. I hope you have understood this. Second, or the third is that wooden table should be called as solid. a wooden table should be called a solid? Of course it is solid, because a wooden table has a fixed shape and fixed volume. According to the very primary definitions of the solid, we have seen that solids are the substances which have specific shape and specific volume. So table has fixed shape also and fixed volume also. So that's why, which are main characteristics of solids, and that's why we can call it a solid. Okay, we can easily move our hand in air, but we do not but to do the same through the solid block would we need a karate experts. Now if you move the hand in air, you can do easily, but if you go through the this mobile screen, we have to forcefully push it, because the particles of that solid particles does not allow to move through it, to pass through it. The reason is that the particles are very strongly attracted towards each other. So let us see what is the answer. The particles of air are large spaces between them, and the other hand wood has a little space between the particles, and because of that wooden table is rigid, or wood is rigid. On the other hand, the air is not a rigid because of the spaces. Okay, and for this reason we can easily move our hands in the air, but not through the wood. Okay, I hope you have got it. Now next question is that liquid generally have a lower density as compared to the solids, but you must have observed that the ice floats on the water. Find out why. It's a very interesting question. That as generally we see that all the solids, they have more density than the liquids. It's a very generalized, it's a generalized statement. But in case of ice, which is formed from the water only, the ice being solid, it floats on the water. Why is it so? Now one answer is that, answer is ice, which is a solid, has vacant spaces between the water molecules. Now if you see, this is suppose the ice block, and these are the particles. Okay, these are the particles. So in these particles there is a vacant spaces. Vacant matlab empty spaces, and thus making ice lighter than water. These spaces making the water lighter in weight. Okay, if you see the liquid form of water, it's closely packed, but ice, which is as a solid, which is in the solid state, it has a vacant spaces, and because of vacant spaces there is a less mass occupied by the that water per unit volume, and that's why the density is lesser than the same amount of water. Okay, so this is about the last question on that page number 6. Now page number 9, if you see, it says that convert the following temperature into Celsius scale. Okay, now these are the conversions which might have studied in the 8th standard also, 7th standard, not in 8th standard, in 7th standard we have studied this. So it's a very simple thing, that how to convert the temperature in Celsius. Now temperature is given in Kelvin. Kelvin is a SI unit of temperature. Okay, so when you have given the temperature in, they have given you temperature in the Kelvin, and if you want to convert in the Celsius, it's a very simple thing, that we just have to subtract the Kelvin temperature by 273. You just subtract 273 from the Kelvin. So here is the 300 minus 273, so you will get the 27 degree Celsius. Okay, so from Kelvin to degree Celsius, if you want to convert, we have to subtract that 273 from the Kelvin. Okay, so that's how we can do it. Okay, the next question is 573 Kelvin. Now it's again very simple. What we have to do again, 573 Kelvin minus 273. Okay, and you will get the answer 300 degree Celsius. So this is how we can convert the temperature from Kelvin to Celsius. Okay, so next question is, what is the physical state of water at? What is the physical state of water at 250 degrees Celsius? Obviously, if you see, the boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius. At 100 degrees Celsius, water start boiling. Boiling means it starts converting from liquid to gaseous state, and this temperature is given is 250 degrees Celsius. Now at 250 degrees Celsius, obviously water will start boiling. It means that it will be gaseous state. So At 250 degrees Celsius, the water state will be gaseous state, as boiling temperature of water is 100 degrees Celsius. Okay, next 100 degrees Celsius. What is the state of water at 100 degrees Celsius? Since water boils at 100 degree temperature, okay, so it can exist both in liquid and gaseous form. At this temperature, water starts boiling. It doesn't mean that entire water boils at 100. When we reach, suppose this is a thermometer and here is the 100 degree Celsius, so temperature rises as we heat. It doesn't mean that as soon as you reach the 100 degree Celsius, entire temperature disappear, entire water disappears. It will not happen. When temperature will start reach at the 100 degrees Celsius, the water will start boiling. It means that the evaporation will start. Okay, evaporation will start earlier also, but it will start boiling, and at that temperature both liquid state will also be found in the container and gaseous state also be found in the above the container. So both states are seen. Since water boils at this temperature, thus it can exist in the both liquid and gaseous state, gaseous form. At this temperature, after getting the heat equal to the latent heat of vaporization, water starts changing from liquid to gaseous state. So that is the answer of this question. Okay, next question is, for any substance, why does the temperature remain constant during the change of state? That we have seen latent heat of evaporation, latent heat of vaporization, okay, latent heat of fusion. Okay, so during the change of state of any substance, the heat supplied or released is utilized in phase change. For example, when you are supplying this temperature to the ice, okay, temperature to ice, so when ice is converting into the water, the temperature doesn't rise unless entire ice is converted into liquid state. Then we say that where the heat is going, so that heat is actually used to change the phase in the sense state of the matter. So such heat is called as latent heat. So the temperature of any liquid, okay, temperature of any substance remains constant during the change of state. During the change of state, temperature remains constant because of the whatever temperature is being supplied is used to change the phase of the matter. Okay, so this is the reason. Next question is, suggest method to liquefy atmospheric gases. एटमॉस्फेरिक गैसेस को आपको क्या करना है, लिक्विफाई करना है. लिक्विफाई मतलब कन्वर्ट करना है लिक्विड में, गैसेस स्टेट को कन्वर्ट करना है लिक्विड स्टेट में. तो कैसे करेंगे? ओके, तो दैट्स हाउ वी विल डू. द गैसेस कैन बी कन्वर्ट टू लिक्विड बाय ब्रिंगिंग द पार्टिकल क्लोजर, so that atmospheric gases can be liquefied either by decreasing temperature or by increasing pressure. There are two methods we have seen in earlier discussion also, that interchanging state of matter. Now if you see, these are the liquid particles, there is a gap. Okay, so there is a gap because they possesses some kinetic energy. Now if you decrease the gap between these two particles, but how will you decrease the gap? If you want to remove the kinetic energy of this particle, you have to lower the temperature of this state of matter. If you cool them, the kinetic energy possessed will be absorbed. Okay, if the temperature is absorbed from this, if the heat is absorbed from this particle, they will go not closer, they will go away. If temperature absorbed, it means that kinetic energy is increased. Sorry, if the temperature is provided, if you see here what is written, such as the method to liquefy atmospheric gas. Okay, now we have to see, try to understand this question. Suggest the method to liquefy atmospheric gases. गैस को करना है अपने को लिक्विड में. Gas we have to convert into liquid. So that can be done by cooling. This can be done by cooling. That means the process of condensation. So gases can be converted to liquid by bringing the particle closer to atmospheric gases. Can be liquefied either by decreasing temperature or increasing pressure. So when we decrease the temperature, kinetic energy is removed, and when the kinetic energy removed, they come closer. And when two gas particles, when they are very far away from each other, when they come closer, that comes the liquid. That's the liquid state. And the second method of doing it is increasing pressure. If you apply the pressure on LPG tank, the gaseous liquefied petroleum gas is converted into liquid state. Okay, so applying pressure also it can be done, and by lowering the temperature also can be done. Okay, so this is about the question that how can you liquefy the atmospheric gases. Next question is that how why sorry why desert is cooler cool